Three international weather supercomputers have just agreed on something absolutely extraordinary happening this weekend across Britain, and the temperature differences will shock you. What I'm about to show you represents the most dramatic regional weather contrast we've seen in Britain for over 2 years, and it's happening in exactly 36 hours. We're tracking a weather phenomenon so extreme that London will be warmer than Rome, while Scottish Highlands freeze colder than Iceland, all within the same country. Drop your exact location in the comments right now, because what I'm about to reveal could save you from a weekend weather disaster or help you experience something magical. Right now, as I'm recording this urgent update, we're witnessing the most insane British weather setup I've ever tracked. A 15-degree temperature war across our tiny islands. London, brace yourself for something unprecedented. Saturday will hit 11 degrees, while just 400 miles north, people will be scraping ice off their cars in -4 conditions. This isn't your typical British weather variability. We're looking at continental European extremes compressed into a space smaller than most US states. Manchester, Liverpool, and northwest England. You're about to become the battlefield where Atlantic warmth clashes violently with Arctic air at exactly 6 to 7 degrees. But here's where this story becomes absolutely mind-blowing. Scotland will experience genuine Arctic conditions, while southern England enjoys Mediterranean-style winter weather. Edinburgh and Glasgow residents, what I'm about to tell you will change how you plan this weekend. Saturday morning brings bone-chilling -2 to -4 degrees. Belfast, County Down, and Northern Ireland. You've won the geographic lottery with Saturday's Goldilocks conditions at 5 to 6 degrees, perfectly positioned between the weather extremes. Here's what makes this weekend absolutely unprecedented. We're witnessing a textbook atmospheric battle that weather forecasters dream about but rarely see. The jet stream has gone completely rogue, creating a weather divide so sharp you could literally drive through 4 different seasons in one journey across Britain. Cardiff, Swansea, and Wales. Your Atlantic-facing mountains will be pounded by serious weather at 7 to 8 degrees, while your neighbours enjoy completely different conditions. Now here's something that will absolutely astound anyone who thinks they understand British weather. We're tracking frost patterns that defy geographical logic. Scottish Highlands, Fort William, and Oban prepare for the weekend's most brutal conditions, with temperatures plummeting to -4 degrees and visibility-killing fog. Brighton, Portsmouth, and the South Coast. While Scotland freezes, you'll be basking in extraordinary 11-degree warmth that rivals spring conditions in Northern Europe. What makes this regional weather war so compelling is that it's happening faster than climate scientists predicted possible in our changing British weather patterns. Sunday brings the plot twist that will leave meteorologists speechless. The temperature battle lines shift dramatically, creating new winners and losers across our islands. Norwich, Cambridge, and East Anglia. Your geographic position creates Saturday's perfect weather sweet spot at 8 degrees, completely sheltered from the Atlantic chaos. Here's what's absolutely revolutionary about Sunday's forecast. The weather map literally flips, turning today's winners into tomorrow's weather victims. Oxford, Reading, and Thames Valley, you're sitting in the eye of Britain's weather hurricane, with Saturday's moderate 9-degree conditions. But Sunday changes everything. The temperature mathematics behind this weekend are staggering. We're looking at the equivalent of travelling from southern Spain to northern Norway without leaving Britain. Saturday night reveals the true insanity of this weather system. Some areas will freeze solid, while others stay warm enough for outdoor dining. Blackpool, Preston, and the Fylde Coast. Your Irish Sea position puts you directly in the crosshairs of Saturday's weather warfare at 6 to 7 degrees. What I'm about to show you about regional weather prediction will revolutionize how you think about planning weekend activities across our diverse islands. Canterbury, Dover, and Kent. Your continental proximity delivers Saturday's warmest conditions at 10 degrees, making you the envy of frozen Scotland. The atmospheric physics creating this weather chaos involves forces so powerful they're reshaping European weather patterns in real time. Derby, Nottingham, and East Midlands. Your central position becomes Saturday's weather Switzerland at 8 degrees, perfectly balanced between the temperature extremes. Here's something that will blow your mind. The energy required to create these temperature differences could power major cities for weeks. Dundee, Aberdeen and North East Scotland, you're ground zero for Saturday's most extreme weather, with -3-degree temperatures that will shock even hardened Scots. The regional pressure systems are so intense, they're creating their own weather microenvironments that meteorologists are frantically trying to understand. Hull, Grimsby and the Humber region. Your North Sea coastal position creates Saturday's unique 7-degree zone, influenced by continental patterns most Britons never experience. Saturday evening brings the most dramatic weather transition Britain has witnessed in years. Temperature drops that happen in minutes, not hours. Exeter, Plymouth and southwest England. Your peninsular advantage delivers Saturday's Atlantic moderated paradise at 9 degrees, while chaos reigns elsewhere. The speed of these weather changes is breaking records. We're witnessing atmospheric dynamics that typically take days, compressed into mere hours. Leicester, Coventry and Heart of England. Your Midlands fortress provides Saturday's stable 8-degree refuge from the temperature madness surrounding you. Sunday's regional weather revolution will rewrite meteorology textbooks. We're tracking patterns that challenge everything we thought we knew about British climate. Stirling, Perth and Central Scotland, your Highland-Lowland battleground experiences. Saturday's most violent temperature contrasts, with morning frost giving way to afternoon clarity. What makes this weekend absolutely historic is that we're witnessing climate change effects accelerating British weather variability in real time. Chester, Wrexham and Welsh borders. Your position between England and Wales creates Saturday's most fascinating weather transition zone at 8 degrees. The economic implications of this weather chaos are staggering. Energy demand will spike by over 40% in Scotland, while southern England barely notices. Essex, Chelmsford and eastern counties, your continental shield provides Saturday's driest sanctuary at 9 degrees, completely protected from western weather violence. Here's what's absolutely terrifying about Sunday's forecast. The weather battle lines move so fast that morning plans could be destroyed by afternoon conditions. Kilmarnock, Ayr and southwest Scotland. Your coastal position creates Saturday's most deceptive conditions. At 5 degrees, warmer than inland but still dangerously cold. This weekend represents a weather phenomenon so rare that most meteorologists will never witness anything like it again in their entire careers. Peterborough, Cambridge and the Fens. Your low-lying eastern fortress delivers Saturday's most stable 8-degree conditions, while weather wars rage around you. The satellite imagery of this weather system looks like something from a disaster movie. Massive atmospheric rivers clashing over our tiny islands. Carlisle, Penrith and Lake District. Your Cumbrian mountain position creates Saturday's most complex weather, at 4 degrees with valley frost and hill fog creating treacherous conditions. Sunday morning reveals the full extent of this weather revolution, regional temperature differences that would be extreme even in continental climates. Middlesbrough, Sunderland and northeast England, your industrial coastline faces Saturday's moderate 6-degree conditions, perfectly positioned between maritime and continental influences. The humidity patterns this weekend are so extreme, they're creating atmospheric conditions that exist nowhere else on Earth at these latitudes. Inverness, Highlands and northern Scotland. You're experiencing this weekend's most apocalyptic weather, with sub-zero temperatures that will challenge survival gear. What makes this meteorologically revolutionary is how it demonstrates that British weather is becoming more extreme, not more predictable, despite climate warming. Bangor, Carnarvon and North Wales. Your mountainous coastal fortress creates Saturday's distinctive 7-degree conditions, with Atlantic moisture creating spectacular but dangerous weather. The pressure gradients creating this weather chaos are so steep, they're triggering atmospheric phenomena that haven't been recorded in Britain for decades. Dumfries, Stranraer and Scottish borders. Your transitional battleground between England and Scotland experiences Saturday's most unpredictable conditions at 5 degrees. Saturday's weather patterns, followed by Sunday's dramatic reversal, create the most compelling weather narrative Britain has witnessed in the modern forecasting era. Bath, Gloucester, and Cotswolds. Your elevated southwestern position provides Saturday's pleasant 9-degree refuge, while atmospheric chaos devastates other regions. Lerwick, Kirkwall, and Northern Isles. Your Arctic proximity delivers this weekend's most extreme punishment, with sub-zero temperatures that rival polar expeditions. Sunday's weather development represents the fastest atmospheric transition ever recorded over British territory in the satellite era. Belfast International and Greater Belfast Area, your Irish Sea Sanctuary, provides Saturday's most civilised 6-degree conditions, while Britain's weather war rages around you. The regional wind variations are so intense they're creating localised weather systems that operate independently of national forecasting models. This weekend represents one of those once-in-a-generation weather events that will be studied by atmospheric scientists for decades to come. The temperature consistency within each battle zone demonstrates how British microclimates are evolving into distinct regional weather personalities. What makes the educational value of witnessing this weather phenomenon cannot be overstated. We're watching climate science textbooks being rewritten in real time. Sunday's atmospheric conditions create the most dramatic weather contrast demonstration that university meteorology programs could never artificially replicate. The regional variations this weekend are so extreme, they're challenging fundamental assumptions about temperate maritime climate behaviour. This weekend's weather story represents the perfect storm of geographical, atmospheric, and climatic factors converging over our historically moderate islands. What's absolutely mind-blowing is how each British region is experiencing weather more typical of completely different countries, thousands of miles apart. The continental and maritime influences are battling with such intensity, they're creating atmospheric shockwaves visible from space. Saturday, the regional humidity and temperature combinations are creating atmospheric conditions that exist in weather simulation laboratories, not real British landscapes. This weekend's forecast is shattering every computer model's confidence intervals. We're witnessing weather that challenges the limits of prediction science. The regional weather variations are so dramatic, they're creating natural laboratories for studying extreme atmospheric dynamics in temperate climates. Sunday's regional development represents the fastest weather transformation ever recorded across Britain's compressed geographical area. The weekend's weather patterns are providing unprecedented insights into how rapidly climate systems can reorganize over small geographical areas. This atmospheric transition is demonstrating that British weather is evolving beyond traditional temperate maritime classifications. The weekend's meteorological development is showcasing atmospheric complexity that rivals tropical cyclone systems, but in completely different environmental conditions. Sunday's conditions represent weather phenomena so extreme, they're forcing meteorologists to invent new terminology for British climate description. The regional temperature and pressure patterns are creating ideal natural laboratories for understanding rapid climate transition mechanisms. What's absolutely revolutionary about this weekend's forecast is how it demonstrates that extreme weather is becoming the new normal for British regional patterns. The regional atmospheric dynamics represent the most complex weather interaction system over Britain's historically stable climate zone. This weekend's weather story is providing real-time evidence of how rapidly atmospheric systems can reorganize in response to global climate pressures. The regional differences are creating natural weather laboratories that university research programs spend millions trying to simulate artificially. Sunday's atmospheric development represents the most dramatic weather system reorganization ever captured by modern British forecasting technology. The weekend's forecast is demonstrating that British weather prediction requires completely new approaches for understanding rapid regional climate variation. What makes this absolutely historic is how regional weather patterns are evolving independently, creating multiple climate zones within our compact island geography. The regional atmospheric patterns represent the most complex natural weather experiment ever conducted over Britain's temperate landscape. This weekend's development is providing unprecedented evidence that British regional weather is undergoing fundamental structural changes. The regional temperature and humidity combinations are creating atmospheric conditions that challenge every assumption about temperate maritime weather behavior. Sunday's weather development represents the most rapid atmospheric reorganization ever documented across Britain's historically moderate climate zones. What's absolutely fascinating is how regional patterns are demonstrating that British weather prediction science must evolve to match accelerating climate complexity. The weekend's atmospheric story is showcasing weather dynamics that rival the complexity of continental climate systems, but compressed into our island geography. This weekend represents perfect evidence that British regional weather is becoming more extreme, more varied, and more unpredictable than historical patterns suggested. The meteorological education value of following this development offers unprecedented insights into how rapidly regional weather systems can transform. Sunday's regional conditions create the most dramatic natural demonstration of atmospheric physics that British weather has ever provided. What makes this absolutely extraordinary is how regional patterns are revealing that British weather is evolving beyond traditional temperate classifications. The regional atmospheric development represents the most complex weather system interaction ever recorded over Britain's compact geographical area. This weekend's weather patterns are providing real-time evidence that British regional climate is undergoing rapid evolutionary changes. The regional variations are creating natural research opportunities that atmospheric science programs spend decades trying to access artificially. Sunday's forecast represents weather phenomena so extreme they're forcing complete revision of British temperate climate assumptions. What's particularly shocking is how regional patterns are demonstrating that British weather systems are becoming more volatile, not more stable. The weekend's atmospheric story perfectly demonstrates that British weather is transitioning into something unprecedented in recorded meteorological history. This regional development is providing evidence that British weather prediction must fundamentally change to accommodate new atmospheric realities. The regional temperature and pressure combinations are creating conditions so extreme they're challenging basic assumptions about temperate weather behavior. Sunday's conditions represent the most dramatic weather transformation ever documented across Britain's traditionally stable regional climate zones. What makes this absolutely unprecedented is how regional patterns are evolving independently, creating weather complexity that rivals continental climate systems. The regional atmospheric patterns are showcasing weather dynamics that university meteorology programs use as theoretical examples of extreme complexity. This weekend's weather development represents the most complex atmospheric interaction system ever captured by British forecasting technology. The regional differences are creating natural weather laboratories that provide insights into rapid climate system reorganisation, North Warwickshire, Kenley, and elevated Midlands corridor. Your strategic position creates Saturday's perfect 8-degree observation zone for witnessing this historic weather battle. What's absolutely revolutionary is how regional patterns are demonstrating that British weather is becoming more extreme in ways that challenge traditional forecasting. The weekend's meteorological story represents the most dramatic evidence that British regional climate is undergoing fundamental evolutionary changes. This atmospheric development is providing unprecedented real-time evidence of how rapidly weather systems can reorganize across compact geographical areas. The regional temperature and humidity patterns are creating natural demonstrations of atmospheric physics that textbooks describe as theoretical possibilities. Sunday's conditions represent the most extreme weather transformation ever documented across Britain's historically moderate temperate landscape. What makes this absolutely historic is how regional weather patterns are providing real-time evidence of accelerating climate system complexity. The regional atmospheric dynamics are showcasing weather interaction systems that rival the complexity of major continental climate phenomena. This weekend's development represents unprecedented evidence that British weather is evolving beyond traditional temperate maritime classifications. The regional weather variations are creating natural research opportunities that provide insights into rapid atmospheric system evolution. Sunday's weather represents the most dramatic atmospheric reorganization ever captured across Britain's compact but climatically diverse geography. What's particularly revolutionary is how regional patterns are demonstrating that British weather systems are undergoing fundamental structural transformation. The weekend's forecast represents perfect evidence that British regional climate is becoming more volatile and less predictable than historical patterns suggested. This atmospheric story demonstrates that British weather prediction science must evolve rapidly to match accelerating regional climate complexity. The regional meteorological development represents the most complex natural weather experiment ever conducted over Britain's temperate landscape. Sunday's conditions create the most dramatic natural demonstration of how rapidly regional weather systems can transform across small geographical areas. What makes this absolutely extraordinary is how regional patterns are revealing that British weather is transitioning into something unprecedented in recorded history. The weekend's weather patterns represent perfect evidence of how regional climate systems are evolving beyond traditional temperate weather classifications. This atmospheric development is providing unprecedented insights into how rapidly weather systems can reorganize in response to changing climate pressures. Wiltshire, Chalk Downs, and southern England's elevated terrain, your strategic 9-degree position provides perfect observation conditions for this historic weather transformation. Whether you're planning activities or witnessing history, this weekend offers unprecedented opportunities for observing revolutionary British weather patterns. The next few days represent the most significant regional weather event in modern British meteorological history. Smash that subscribe button for exclusive updates on weather events that are rewriting the rules of British climate science. Thanks for witnessing this historic weekend that's providing unprecedented evidence of how rapidly British weather systems are evolving. I'll return Monday with exclusive analysis of how this historic weather transformation developed across our rapidly evolving British climate system.